case of the Swedish Pavilion, how do you define public-private partnership?
Sweden has a long tradition of public-private joint activities when it comes to Expo or other sort of more nation branding marketing activities, where it's quite common that it's a 50-50 maybe sharing of the costs. Previously, this has been very much that the government or the committee has taken the decision to found a theme, creating the exhibition and other things. And then the business, the companies have come in as sponsors using the facility or just sort of hooking into it. Now this time we wanted to do it differently, and mainly because the companies were not really pleased with what they have experienced previous years. So the idea was that we're not doing any sponsorships, or basically the most important thing was that we wanted to have the big companies, the important companies, and the companies for which this would be important to become partners with government. So the government decided to set along a certain budget under the preconditions that the business would come in as partners with the same amount of money. And becoming a partner here would be that you actually participate in creating the theme, creating the exhibition, and other things. But you're also part of the decision making. So I have a committee consisting of official partners and of government representatives and also business representatives. And I think this is very, very favorable for the project and for our participation, because it gives us a broad but also very solid ground.
So, people will say, well, since you have all of these different groups and different organizations involved in this collaborative project, and their interests may compete with each other, they may have very different agendas. So how do you organize and coordinate, this group of people?
You could say we have several bodies for sharing information or for discussion or for decisions. There is a representative advisory board where a large number of companies, but also professors, politicians, and others, which are not really represented in the project, but they have good knowledge about China. They could be very good as advisors. So this is the advisory board. Then we have the committee. Committee, as I said, consists of representatives for the public side and for the companies. And then we have the project leaders meeting. So each partner, regardless if it's a government agency or if it's a company, nominate a project leader. And they could have a project leader in Sweden and a project leader in China. This means that we have had every 6 weeks or something like that, we've had meetings. In the beginning with a quite small group, and in the end we had more than 70 people joining these meetings in Stockholm and more than 70 people joining them in Shanghai. And this takes some time. We have also built an intranet, of course, where we share all the information, the booking, the administration, guidelines and policies and whatever there is to share. But in the end of the day, this has come out very well, because what's good in this is that these partners and these people also create their own networks and share information and support each other without the support from our staff.
So based on the lessons learned, what advice do you have for building a successful public and private partnership?
Time is really, start early, because it's time consuming to get the funds together. Even if the government is there, it's very time consuming. Like, we have some 110 stakeholders and you need to be in contact. You have to write your agreements, and you cannot be sure that you have a full picture of your budget until on a fairly late stage. So That's basically the most important advice is for government also to start in time and to let the kind of organization to go on. Trust, to see that there is a small decision-taking body where all different interests are represented. Because if you don't have that, I think that either business would not feel that their interests would be taken care of, or the government bodies would feel that they're just spending money and in the interest of the business. And why would government do that? I mean, this discussion is always very much present. Why would a government spend money to support the business? On the other hand, why would the business spend the money to support the overall nation branding? And I think you find this discussion in most countries, and it's certainly alive in Sweden. And that's why we, in a very Swedish way, very often end up in the 50-50 balance. This should not be seen as a civil servant organization. Many countries, and that's another advice I have, is really not to recruit basically from the ministries.
Why?
But no, I think you need to recruit also a lot of people from the business side. But you need to understand the ministries and their needs and views. So it's a balance.